Yeah, so I wanted to start off just by talking for a few minutes about what we can call growing the good. So this kind of receptive mindfulness practice, um, the aim is generally seen as growing positive qualities, which are usually seen in terms of the five spiritual faculties. So mindfulness, energy, faith, stability of mind, and wisdom. So then maybe it's a slightly broader definition than we might think of as positive qualities. But these, yeah, the five spiritual qualities cover a whole sort of range, but include mindfulness and wisdom. So yeah, sometimes the question comes up, what's the role of happiness and pleasure in in this kind of practice? And Bhante Sangharakshita, yeah, he is often quoted saying, "A happy mind is a concentrated or stable mind." So happy, the link between happiness and stability is sort of well established. But it can really help our practice when there's some positivity, some uplift in the aware mind, in the observing mind. When the way of looking is benign, interested, and open, then it has access to pleasure and joy more readily, more naturally. Um, and I'm very fond of a teaching of Anala's that I call his cut to the chase teaching. He doesn't call it that, but I think of it as that, where he's saying, well, happiness is mental after all. So why detour via sense gratification or sense pleasures, but why not go directly to the source, if you like, which is the mind, and cultivate pleasure, cultivate joy. And yeah, he says it's more meaningful, more straightforward, but also more meaningful to do so. So it can help to orient towards pleasure and joy when it's naturally occurring in the mind. And actually, a lot of the time, there will be something of that. It might be quite subtle, but we can sort of find the route to pleasure, joy, appreciation. I think appreciation is a very sort of clear and straightforward route to opening the heart and mind in a way that feels pleasurable and meaningful. So going with ease, going with interest in the practice, recognizing qualities like contentment, acceptance, allowing, patience, um, pleasure from really simple things like just sitting quietly when we're meditating, that there's no agenda to do, there's no sort of tyranny that, oh, I should be doing something, I need to be doing something. If we can just sit, the pleasure of settling back, settling into the natural breath as it occurs. So small pleasures, pleasure of of being present, pleasure of the present moment, resting in that. And these small pleasures, I think, can be a sort of gateway to deeper pleasures where the mind starts to understand, with the other faculties, starts to understand what's happening in experience in a deeper way. So that meaning and satisfaction that comes from clear seeing, comes from insight, it's deeply, deeply pleasurable and brings a lot of happiness to the mind. So finding and connecting with these smaller moments can be a pathway to deeper pleasures, but can also really motivate us to practice. If there isn't a sense of joy or pleasure in practice, then it can be hard to continue, hard to find the motivation to continue. appreciating the mind, appreciating and having some sense of openness to pleasure helps us to be with experience when it's really not like that. If within the observing mind we're able to access some of these qualities I've been talking about, can really help us be with experience when the mind is dull, or there's some pain in the body or mind, when things are difficult. There's enough positivity then in the mind, in the awareness, to hold whatever's arising. And this in itself is a factor in helping the mind not identify so much with whatever's happening, the difficulties that are happening. And then once the mind is identifying with it, then it starts making a problem, starts thinking about it, and things get very complicated from there. So recognizing simple joy and pleasure help us recognize and be able to stay with things in awareness in a simpler, more wholesome way. So on retreats, as many of you know, I quite often do what I call resourcing exercises. And the purpose of those, and they're drawn from different sources, it's to help uplift the mind. Maybe you're not a morning person. I'm not particularly myself. So actually it can really help to just give the mind a little, the mind and heart, a little boost at times. So we're going to start this morning with a resourcing exercise, and then we'll go straight into the sit, and I'll carry on from there. So if you'd like to set your posture up.